And that's what provoked a response from a woman named Emma Vigeland. If you've never heard of Emma, which would be understandable, most people have never heard of her, but she is a far-left talking head who co-hosts a YouTube show called The Majority Report alongside somebody named Sam Cedar. Now, their show is irrelevant. Nobody cares about it. Nobody talks about it. It has no cultural impact at all. The only reason that I know of their existence personally is that they have done approximately 10,000 segments about me, constantly begging for my attention. And now I'm finally giving them a little bit of attention, which I'm sure fills them with indescribable glee. So I'm hesitant to even talk about this because I don't really want to give this pathetic, irrelevant woman the attention she desperately craves.
Today, we're diving into a clip that's equal parts infuriating and revealing. Matt Walsh is calling out Emma Vigeland, a far-left commentator, for her response to a video of a teenage girl, Peyton McNabb, being seriously injured during a volleyball match by a male athlete. And let me tell you, Emma's reaction? She laughed. Not just a chuckle, full-on ha 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 at a girl suffering a traumatic brain injury. This is about more than just sports or politics. It's about basic human decency. So, let's break this down and see why Walsh isn't holding back.
During his speech to the joint session of Congress on Tuesday, Donald Trump touted his executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. He also highlighted just a few of many examples of women being harmed by the inclusion of trans-identified males in their sports league. One of the victims is a young lady named Peyton McNabb, who had been specially invited by the president. He gave her a shout out during the speech, and let's see that again.
I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports. Three years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding.
So it was a great moment, a moment highlighting a girl who is not or never intended to be a conservative activist. She's just a girl who wanted to play volleyball, but ended up severely injured in the process. Now, the video of the injury is quite gruesome, and Trump's rapid response team tweeted it out on Tuesday night as Trump was talking about it. And that's what provoked a response from a woman named Emma Vigeland. If you've never heard of Emma, which would be understandable, most people have never heard of her, but she is a far-left talking head who co-hosts a YouTube show called The Majority Report alongside somebody named Sam Cedar. Now, their show is irrelevant. Nobody cares about it. Nobody talks about it. It has no cultural impact at all. The only reason that I know of their existence personally is that they have done approximately 10,000 segments about me, constantly begging for my attention. And now I'm finally giving them a little bit of attention, which I'm sure fills them with indescribable glee. So I'm hesitant to even talk about this because I don't really want to give this pathetic, irrelevant woman the attention she desperately craves. But it also exposes an essential truth about the pro-trans side. So I think it's worth discussing for that reason. So yesterday, in response to the video of a teenage girl being severely injured during a volleyball match, Emma posted this. Very simple response. She wrote, ha 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 ha. This is Emma laughing hysterically at a video of a girl sustaining a brain injury at the hands of a male athlete. To be clear again, Peyton McNabb, at the time when this injury happened, was not an activist. She was not a political person. She was just a girl playing volleyball. It's not like Emma's laughing because in her mind some conservative activist got their comeuppance, you know. It's not like this is a video of Robbie Starbuck slipping on a banana peel or me falling down the steps. And I'm quite sure that would provoke laughter from Emma and her fellow leftists, justifiably, in fact. That would be kind of funny, I have to admit. This is different. This is a 17-year-old high school student receiving a violent blow to the head and getting seriously injured in the process. Emma finds that hysterically funny. She is sent into convulsive fits of laughter at the sight of a trans male injuring a young girl. Now, it's really no surprise. This is not someone who is terribly thoughtful or intelligent when it comes to this issue or any issue. Here she is on her show a little while ago articulating her case for allowing men to compete against women.
Emma laughing at a teenage girl getting seriously injured? What kind of person does that? I don't know about you, but this isn't just about being on the left or the right. This is about having a shred of humanity. Peyton McNabb wasn't a political activist. She was a 17-year-old girl playing volleyball. And Emma's response? Ha ha ha. Seriously? This is the kind of behavior that makes people question the entire pro-trans activism movement. If your side is laughing at a girl suffering, maybe it's time to reevaluate your priorities. Let's keep going, because this only gets worse.
And I couldn't find the original video on Emma's channel, so I'm pulling this from this clip from a video on the channel Actual Justice Warrior, which you should check out to hear his take on this as well. Here is Emma.
I'm actually not bad about this. I'm 100% right on this. I don't give a shit about the scientific explanations. People, if they identify as a woman, get to compete in sports. If that's not fair in the short term for a variety of little competitions, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit because the societal interest of including trans people in society trumps stupid competition. Full stop. So I'm right about this. You're wrong about this.
She doesn't give a damn about the scientific explanation. She also doesn't care about fairness in sports. She's on the record saying that neither science nor fairness matter to her. By the way, the woman who laughs at the idea of fairness in sports and calls them stupid little competitions did just recently attempt to launch her own sports network, ESVN, the Emma Sports Vigeland Network, which I'm pretty sure is not meant to be a joke, was launched on YouTube almost 3 years ago. It currently has 16,000 subscribers. That's 1/6 in 3 years. And I guess now we know why her sports network flopped. Well, it flopped because she's a miserable, shrieking, humorless nag, and also because nobody wants to hear sports analysis from somebody who thinks that sports are stupid little competitions. I mean, that's like me starting a channel for anime reviews. Although, if I did, I guarantee I'd get more than 16,000 subs in 3 years. That's just humiliating. But in any case, there isn't much that can be said to debunk Emma's position on the trans sports topic. She's already stated up front that science and fairness are irrelevant. So it's like trying to discuss the solution to a math equation with somebody who declares at the outset that the basic rules of arithmetic don't matter. Like, if that's the case, there's nothing to talk about. It's like you might as well be arguing with a schizophrenic who thinks that he's an Egyptian pharaoh in the year 2000 BC. This is somebody who has completely divorced herself from reality. You can't debate her because debating requires that both parties exist in the same universe, if not, preferably the same planet. But Emma lives in a fantasy universe of her own making, where the laws of science are suspended and superseded by the desires of trans people. The only thing that matters to Emma, and she's clear about this, is how a trans person feels. The question of whether trans-identified males should compete against women is to her not a scientific question, not a question of fairness, or a question of common sense. It is a question about feelings. And specifically, the question is this: will it make the trans male feel good to compete against women? If so, he should. The end. The feelings of everybody else involved, they don't matter either. The only thing that matters in the entire world is how trans people feel. That is the overriding concern. It is the only concern. That was her argument. This is how she sees the world. I'm not making a straw man of her position. It's what she actually just said. And it does make sense, to the extent that there's any sense to be made, of Emma's reaction to that video of Peyton being injured. Trans-identified males very often get a thrill out of intimidating and dominating women. At the very least, they obviously don't care how women feel or about the harm they cause. The only thing Emma cares about is how the trans person feels. And she knows that the trans athlete in that video doesn't care that he injured Peyton and may in fact get a thrill out of it. So to Emma, that means the video is wonderful and heartwarming and even hilarious. This is the dark heart of trans activism. It is fueled not just by hostility to truth and common sense, but also by a deep cruelty. There is a total disregard for the harm done to others, and even a pleasure, a euphoria, in causing that harm. This is what's bubbling not very deep beneath the surface of a trans activist psyche. It's what's going on inside Emma's mind also. Now, why is that? I mean, Emma is not trans, as far as I know. Why would she disgrace and discredit herself by disavowing science in favor of men in women's clothes? Like, what do you get out of this? Why would she so openly advertise her own sociopathy by laughing at the image of a teenage girl sustaining a brain injury? What does she get out of it? Really? I mean, well, it's kind of hard to say. Maybe she just really dislikes herself, and that would be understandable. There's a whole lot to dislike. Maybe this is all nothing but another desperate plea for attention. Maybe it's a radical ploy to get her failing sports network off the ground. Maybe she's just very, very, very stupid. We can't know for sure. Well, that last one we do know for sure, but as for the others, there's no way to tell. All we know is that Emma is in an ever-dwindling minority on this issue. Her side is losing badly, and it gets worse for them every day. And the more that they put their psychotic indifference to science, common sense, and basic human decency on display, the more they will lose. Which is why I'm glad that Emma posted this tweet. Ironically, it will prove to be the most relevant and influential thing she's ever done. The only relevant and influential thing she's ever done or ever will do. She's helped to remind 80% of Americans why they oppose men and women's sports. And she's caused the other 20% to question whether they really want to be aligned with an imbecile like this. That's the service she's provided the country. And now the country will go back to forgetting that she exists. And that is why Emma Vigeland is today canceled.
Emma's reaction to Peyton McNabb's injury isn't just tone deaf, it's downright cruel. And it exposes a deeper issue within the pro-trans activism movement, a complete disregard for science, fairness, and basic human decency. Walsh isn't wrong to call this out. If your argument relies on laughing at a teenager's suffering, you've already lost. This isn't about politics, it's about common sense. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Emma's response is as appalling as I do? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. See you next time.